What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a great Father's Day. Shout out to all the fathers out there. Backstage, we have a very special guest. Ross, do the introduction.
Man, we have got a big time 22 recruit with us. We've got Anthony Lucas from Chaparral High School in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is one of the elite pass rushers in the 2022 class and a top 100 recruit on 24/7 Sports. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Appreciate Anthony for you coming on. I know you're a very busy young man. You have a lot of things going on, so we greatly appreciate your time. And tell me, how has this recruiting process been for you, Anthony? I mean, you're the number one overall player in the state of Arizona. I'm sure every school in America has been speaking with you. So how has it been, having all this success and attention at such a young age?
It's been great, really, blessing, truly, and really fun to be able to talk with all these schools. And right now, I've been on the road for like 2 weeks straight and got another week ahead of me of just straight visiting schools. And that's been really fun, getting to visit all these different places.
Absolutely. And Ross, for all the viewers watching right now who aren't familiar with Anthony, kind of what's your scouting report on Anthony? What does he bring to the table as a defensive end?
He kind of offers it all. We're talking about speed, power, upper body, lower body strength, some very good technique, and he has the type of frame that he can continue to add muscle while he gets to college and not lose any athleticism. This is a premier pass rusher. There's absolutely no doubt about it, Paul.
Hey, if Ross is your elite man, you got to be one of the best. I guarantee you. Anthony, what schools have you visited so far, throughout this summer?
First stop, we went to Texas A&M. Right after that, hit Notre Dame, then to Oregon, and then just got done with Miami, going to FSU tomorrow, then have LSU in a couple of days, and then I have Alabama official for my last official next weekend.
How was that visit to Coral Gables? Kind of walk through the viewers, kind of what you did on that visit. You got in, you flew, you met with a specific coach. Maybe you had a host player as well.
Yeah. So flew in, got to the hotel, and first night, because I flew in early, so first night just got to relax, enjoy it a little bit. Then Friday, went out with the team for breakfast, and the coaching staff gave us a nice little presentation on some of the things that the school has to offer while we were eating. Then toured the campus, went around on a golf carts, one end to the other, probably a 4-minute golf cart ride, really 8-minute walk across campus completely, which was pretty cool to see. Got to see everything. And the business school was amazing to see, especially with the big U they have in front of it. And then Friday night, went to dinner and then got to hang out with some of the players and my player host, Zach McLeod. And then Saturday, we went toward the facilities, took our pictures, and had meetings with the strength coaches, medical staff, all that. And then went out with the players again. And then Sunday morning, met with Coach Diaz right after breakfast. That pretty much wrapped up the trip.
Sounds like you had a really good experience there at Coral Gables. We're glad to hear that. Anthony, I'm curious. Was there anything that any of the coaches said to you that really stood out? Stuff that, really went, wow, Miami might be a good place for me.
Really, in my meeting with Coach Diaz, really his focus on people and the connections to make connections and really valuing that as the whole staff, because he really picks people on his staff just like him. And this new staff that he got right now has probably been the best staff Miami has had for a while.
I agree, man, and that's been a lot of buzz in our own fan bases that we're feeling really good about this current staff, and it's fantastic to hear from an elite recruit that you're feeling the same way. That really is fantastic. I'm kind of curious. Was there anything specific about the Miami football facilities that really stood out to you as well?
I'll probably say the indoor fields that they have. Those were really amazing. I like the trophy room, and they have this little room where you walk in, and there's like mist that comes down with a projection on it with like the U, and then it's like the entrance to this little room, and it has like it's like 3D models of like a football statue and then a big shoe, and then it has like projections around all of it. It's like a 360 room. That was pretty dope.
Anthony, what were some things Zach McLeod was telling you on your visit? You know, a current player. He has great insight. He's been with the program roughly 5 to 6 years, give or take. Veteran player. He's going to make a big impact. What were some things he was telling you, about the University of Miami family?
Really, he was explaining to me how when he first came into it, he he didn't really think that Miami was at a position where he needed the team to be, and he really took a step forward and took that leadership role since he pretty much stepped onto campus and made a name for himself and established a good winning by Miami and being able to hold down all the players, make sure things on and off the field, holding each other accountable. The culture might really changed, and Zach was just giving me good advice on how to take this recruiting process and how to go through it and stuff.
Absolutely. No, I think that's great. You're able to speak with another player who's been a part of the program for such a long time. And I'm sure he can give you a good insight of what it is to be a part of the University of Miami family or, any school you do choose to speak with a veteran player. I think that's great to have on a visit. Who's been the primary coach you've been building a relationship with at the University of Miami? Is it Coach Jess Simpson? Maybe it's another coach on the staff.
Yeah, Coach Jess is since he's gotten to Miami, back to Miami actually. He's been in contact with me. Coach Aristide from he was just at A&M, and he was recruiting me over there, and pretty much passed along the recruiting to the A&M staff over there. And as he went to Miami, he's still been probably one of the top people talking with me because he also shares some of the similar culture as me.
Anthony, what are you working on this offseason to take your game to the next level? Is there anything you really, really want to improve at?
Me, I would probably say more speed because I want to be able to keep up with some of these little running backs and receivers whenever I got to go chase them down.
What type of a season were you guys allowed to have last year for your high school season? I know COVID was kind of made it different for everybody across the nation. What kind of season did you guys have?
We had a little rough start at the beginning. We missed 2 games at the beginning due to COVID, and that really would have set us back. And we started off the season a little rough after we got that 2-week stretch of not being able to play, and then coming into the season not too hot, but picked it up towards the end a little bit and was able to pull ourselves together and win the 6A state championship for Arizona.
Anthony, I've always been curious when a lot of West Coast players come and visit the University of Miami. Did you know about the University of Miami's history, or did you even follow the football team being all the way out in the West Coast? In Arizona, you have Arizona State, Arizona, even Utah's next door. There's Southern California, UCLA. You visited Oregon. So did you ever cross paths, as a young just football fan and playing the game with the University of Miami?
Oh, really? I was born in Haiti,
Okay.
and I lived in Florida for 10 years.
Oh,
And my
Very cool.
dad, he actually graduated from the University at Miami, so I grew up watching him. And
Okay.
my dad was kind of a little, he was a little mad because they didn't offer me as early as he thought they should have because of the legacy. But I mean, it still all turned out for the best. They were able to make up for that lost time with this weekend. But yeah, I grew up watching Miami. They've always been uh, my number one team, really. And funny thing is, like when I was first, I didn't start playing football until my freshman year of high school, and my mom was the one who convinced my dad to let me play by saying I would play for the University of Miami if he lets me start playing football.
So this next trip to Florida State, is your dad going on the trip or is he going to be staying at home? Because this, if he went to
Nah,
you
he'll
on,
definitely be going. Nah, it was very when he got to campus, it was just all so nostalgic for him, and it was great to see and watch how amazed he was to just be back on campus after not being there for a little bit. But yeah, he's gonna be there, FSU, LSU, and Bama.
wow.
So yeah.
Anthony, I'm kind of curious here, and let our fans know, what were your stats from last season?
Ooh, I can't really get that off the top of my head, but I think it was 7 sacks, 40 something tackles, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, those are probably the only ones I really remember.
Hey, that's great, man. As long as we have some kind of an example, at least our fans can, hear and get a little more familiar with.
Yeah.
So, asking that question,
Yeah, that was all in like. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, the next question I had for you was, what are your goals for this next season? Is there any statistical marks that you want to hit or any milestones?
I would probably say since COVID season shortened our schedule, and we also missed the first 2 games in our schedule, so we had a really like half a season. So I would probably say triple the stats I just had in every category. So I'm gonna aim for that with this full season. Hopefully, COVID doesn't try to mess up this next year.
Anthony, you're visiting a lot of great programs, LSU, Alabama. You just visited Miami, Oregon, Texas A&M. Do you plan on trimming kind of a list of schools as you get towards making your decision, whether it's early signing day or maybe during the national signing day? I think Anthony froze.
Really, I've just been can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Yeah, I would probably say all right. I would probably say I want to wait until this season and see how all the teams do. And I mean, right now, like every school, they're all gonna have their glitz and glamours. Try to show what they're the best in. And when it all comes down to is what you can do on the football field. So, I mean, I'm gonna see how this upcoming season goes for all the teams, and not really gonna make a decision until maybe after the season or during the All-American game.
Absolutely. No, I think it's great that you're going to take your time. There's no rush at all to pick a university. At the end of the day, you're going to invest 3 to 4 years at the appropriate college you want to attend. So, be patient, enjoy this process. With that being said, you mentioned how teams do during the regular season. What other factors are going to play a huge role in your decision? Someone mentioned what do you want to major in college? You mentioned the School of Business. Maybe that's a route you're really focusing in on as an example. So what other factors are in play?
Yeah, like education, especially for my parents. They made me. I grew up heavy academics first always, so academics is obviously going to have to be an important factor in that. And really thinking about studying business and either sports management or sports media, and then the football, the environment, how are the other students at the school, not just the football players, and what recruits are going there with me. Like I'm going on all these and meeting other recruits I didn't know before, and getting to see who's going to commit there and what I was able to take from being around them these past couple weekends and getting to know everybody really.
Anthony, what is your current height and weight right now?
I'm at 6'5", 280.
Okay. And what kind of weight room stats are you putting up right now? You know, where do you excel in the weight room?
Well, for max squat, I hit 475 a couple weeks ago, and then max bench, I hit 300. Max hang clean was, I think, also I think it was 275 or 285 for max hang clean.
Wow, very impressive. When you got a chance to speak with the strength and conditioning program, the coaches there, what do they tell you? Kind of, do they want you, projectile wise, to gain weight, or they're happy where you're at right now, maybe to focus on trimming down and gain more muscle when you get into the program?
So their whole basis was really focusing on what your body and bone composition and muscle mass can really make on your body. So they want to really, they said the way that I'm playing and like moving already, playing weight is fine. Just they're going to utilize that, probably burn off the rest of any baby fat or anything that I have, and then just put on as much muscle as my body can hold without me decreasing in any speed or strength categories.
Now, Anthony, with that being said, I got one more question on my end. I want to hear from you. Maybe you had a favorite. I'm not sure. Who's your favorite defensive end at the University of Miami you grew up watching, or maybe in the history of University of Miami football?
I would either have to say, can it just be like D line? Not
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
D-line. I'd probably say Warren Sapp, and I like watching I like watching Zach a lot too, really.
Really?
And just yeah, I mean, and his work in the classroom as well as the weight room, they complement each other, and that's one person I'm really looking forward to try to mold myself to be like in the way how his leadership role for the team and what he's able to do on and off the field.
Love it. Love it, man. Ross, you got anything else for Anthony?
Yeah, I got one more question for you here, Anthony. Let our fans know and kind of give an idea of what colleges are going to get if they get a commitment from Anthony Lucas. What kind of player are you? Passionate, hungry, smart. What are you going to bring to the college that you select?
Me, I would probably say really being able to carry the weight of the team and how their emotions really reflect on my shoulders. Like I'm really just laid back, fun, easygoing guy, and I feel like I would be able to really shape some other minds and players that I will be able to be around for the next 3-4 years and have a positive impact on a lot of people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anthony, just speaking with you, I can tell you have a great head on your shoulders. You're going to do great things on the football field, off the football field. I'm looking forward to where you end up at the next level. You already have a great list of programs going after you, and I know you're going to do great things at the Power 5 level. And hopefully, if you do come to the University of Miami, you can be our next great lineage of defensive ends we've had quite recently going in the first round. So, hey, it was a pleasure to speak with you, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
All
It was a
right.
pleasure being on the show. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Anthony. All right. Take care. All right, guys. That was Anthony Lucas, 4-star defensive end out of the state of Arizona. Number one player overall in the state of Arizona, was recently on Coral Gables. Was in Coral Gables, not on Coral Gables. Was on campus. Ross, once again, everyone listening right now, just kind of give a brief kind of overview of Anthony Lucas as a player, because honestly, I think this would be a really amazing addition. We've had a nice lineage of defensive ends at the University of Miami, and under the direction of Jess Simpson, Anthony Lucas should be a star.
I completely agree, Paul. Like I mentioned earlier, this is one of the absolute elite pass rushers in the 2022 class. We are talking about a guy that's already displaying college level strength. That's one of the biggest things that I see when I watch him play. I think to add something like that to the other, prototypical style pass rushers that we're adding to the team on a yearly basis, to add that kind of raw strength and power would really be big for us. And I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a guy that succeeds at the college level. I have absolutely no doubt about it. His film is a ton of fun to watch. And if Canes fans hasn't seen it yet, go watch that film.
I thought it was very interesting. His father went to the University of Miami, also said he was a little bit kind of curious as to why the University of Miami did not offer him sooner, since his father attended the university and he has offers such as Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, who he's either going to visit those programs or already has. He took a visit to Oregon. He clearly stated Coach Aristide was recruiting him at Texas A&M. Now we have Coach Aristide as well at the University of Miami. He left Texas A&M to join our coaching staff. So maybe Coach Aristide plays a huge role. Jess Simpson has been his primary recruiter as well. I think something is cooking in Coral Gables, and we can finish with a very nice class. With that being said, we just gained a 3-star wide receiver commitment out of the state of Louisiana, Landon Ibieta. Ross, break it down about Landon.
Landon is a very good technical and fundamental football player. There's no doubt about it. He offers some very good upside. Actually, I'll say one of the biggest things I noticed about him is his footwork off the line. That's where I see a lot of the big upside for Ibieta, and that's where he creates a lot of the space that he gets, and that's where he's able to make plays. He might not be the fastest guy. He might not be the biggest guy, but he makes up for that in IQ. This is a guy that's going to be able to come in and at least be able to contribute to the team on a practice basis by being a guy who'll come in right away, understand the playbook, and be able to possibly mimic some of the guys that we're going against while he's young and still developing.
One thing I saw that I liked a lot about Landon, he's very physical as a wide receiver. He is going to be very aggressive when the ball is in midair. He's going to go out and fight for it against the appropriate defensive back that he's facing. Okay. He's very technically sound. He's very fluid as a route runner. I thought he ran his routes I know it's a highlight tape, but he's very smooth as a runner. So technique wise, he's very sound. And something we've been missing at Miami with this past wide receiver core is battling for footballs when it's in midair, fighting for those footballs. And I'm seeing that in his highlight tape. Once again, highlight tape is to show you the best skill set of the player, right? To attract colleges. But Rob Likens went out and evaluated Landon Ibieta. Okay. 3-star recruit out of Louisiana. Look at that. Look at that line right there. That's not like a local kid. No, he's from the state of Louisiana, out of state recruit, holds offers from Kansas, Mississippi State, UVA. It wasn't like this was a primary 4-star recruit. No, Rob Likens handpicked this guy and evaluated Landon. So overall, we have to trust the evaluation of Rob Likens, but I really like what I see on tape.
To me, this is a big deal going forward with Rob Likens. It's like you said, it's that competition. It's the guys willing to fight for the ball, the guys willing to really put it all on the line to prove that they want to earn snaps. Quan Lee, Ibieta, they kind of embody that whole entire vibe. There's going to be fans that are going to go, well, these guys aren't high ranked and all that stuff. Don't worry about that right now. We've still got time to add talent, and we're going to add talent to that wide receiver room. But to bring in guys with this kind of mindset is valuable. And I don't want people to kind of lose track of that. I want people to truly understand how valuable that mindset can be for the future of our wide receiver corps.
Absolutely. Now, I got to ask you, Quan Lee took a visit to UCF. Um, Seemed like he enjoyed his time. What do you think about that?
I think it's completely fair that he decided to take his visits. I have absolutely no issues with it. Kids are going to change their mind occasionally,
100%.
and it's not that just he changes his mind. Things change on the University of Miami's mind too. Things change within our recruiting strategies and our attempts and our approaches that we go after. Landing a guy like Ibieta could possibly be seen as direct competition for Quan Lee. But I don't necessarily see it that way. I see it more as trying to add two guys with that mindset I was telling you about that's so valuable. I'm not going to be surprised if we continue to hear a little buzz about Quan Lee and his UCF trip. It's not going to surprise me at all. But at least for the time being, I'm not too worried about it.
Now, we have Quan Lee, Landon Ibieta. Do you think we have a third wide receiver coming in we're evaluating, or we're going to stick with two?
Oh, I believe that the next approach, and absolutely, I mean, no doubt the next approach for us will be to add a wide receiver with that height and length that we've been coveting for a while and haven't been able to get. We've got a guy like Gibson we're going after. We've got 6'5" wide receiver Sean Wilson from New York that will be down for Paradise Camp. We've got, two options right there. So if one doesn't choose Miami, hopefully maybe a guy like, if Gibson doesn't pick Miami, maybe after Paradise Camp, Sean Wilson will impress our staff enough where they'll say, hey, we truly want to add you to our wide receiver room. So I truly, truly do believe that the next guy will be a guy with some size, basically, some height and some length. And let's not forget about Isaiah Horton, too.
Absolutely. Now, there was an offensive lineman, Arkansas commit, that was on campus. Ross, you want to introduce him kind of as a player and someone to look out for because he really enjoyed his visit, and we will be uploading a video tomorrow. This everything kind of got in the way, but we're going to do one tonight. But tomorrow of our interview with him, introduce him to kind of everyone because I feel like he's not getting a lot of notoriety. I'll talk about it later in my video tomorrow.
Yeah, Andrew Chamblee. He's an offensive lineman who is currently committed to the University of Arkansas, but he's taking some visits, and Miami was one of his recent visits. This is a guy that I believe that Garin Justice is really trying to go after. And when I say a guy like him, I don't mean necessarily it has to be Chamblee, but it'll be a guy along those kind of lines. He fits the prototype that Garin Justice wants to get, a longer, athletic offensive lineman that's capable of blocking better for a dual threat quarterback on the outside. That is what Andrew Chamblee is, and I think that is exactly the kind of guy that Garin wants to bring in.
Do you think, I don't want to give away the interview you had with him before his visit, but do you think Miami is in a good position moving forward? Do you think there's heavy interest on Andrew's side as well?
I believe that there is some genuine interest. I truly do. A guy who is committed to another school, who's in the current class right now, willing to visit Miami, willing to come on and talk with me about the visit. There's certain guys, man, I'll tell you, Paul, I've done this for long enough now that if guys aren't really interested in Miami, they're going to kind of just ignore me when I try to talk to them. But I'll tell you what, man, a kid who's committed in the current class at an SEC school, willing to jump on here and willing to go to Miami, I think we're doing okay there, man. I really do.
Any other names any viewers watching should look out for moving forward that maybe will be visiting Miami soon, just came off of a visit to Coral Gables that may be making some noise as a commitment?
I definitely want to touch base on linebacker for the simple fact that Omar Graham, a guy that, we interviewed a couple of times, a guy that, seemed to have some real interest from Miami, ended up committing to FSU. The buzz was that was the direction he was heading in these last 2 weeks. So it makes sense. And I wish him nothing but the best. But we've still got our eyes on some very talented linebackers. Adding Wesley at linebacker is the priority. He is the absolute
100%.
priority. guys like DJ Westelak and stuff like that. They're intriguing options. They've got some high upside, and especially with the sideline to sideline type speed that we want to add to that unit. So, there's definitely a couple guys to keep an eye out for, but there's no doubt that Wesley will be the priority at that position, and it's a priority of need, position of need.
100% agree. I think Wesley Basaint is absolutely the number one priority. I don't understand why Omar Graham Jr. wasn't a take, and I think Florida State got a great player. I honestly do. This was a very physical, aggressive linebacker. Very vicious, actually. I thought he brings the hit stick. Yeah, I saw one little highlight reel of him, and I was sold. I wanted him on the show immediately. Outstanding player. He's a great kid as well. I think Florida State got a great football player. I really do. You got to trust the staff, of course. And I think, look, moving forward, we'll be fine with Wesley Basaint. I think we're in a great position. Seemed like he loved Miami, according, to the interviews he had with Rivals 24/7 Sports. But I'm curious as to why we didn't take Wesley Basaint and if we're going to be taking 2 linebackers in this class as well.
Paul, not taking Omar Graham is one of those situations where I really hope it doesn't kind of end up biting us in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those situations.
Like Dalvin Cook, Devontae Freeman. You miss out on those players, or in the case of Devontae Freeman, you didn't recruit him. Jimbo takes a chance on him. Miami didn't think he was a take at that moment, and the rest is history. They win football games over Miami.
Guys who truly wanted to be at Miami too at one point in time and during the recruitment process. I mean, Omar Graham made that bluntly clear to us that Miami was a very viable option for him and that he was intrigued in the future that linebacking unit was heading in. That aggressiveness, that physical play, Paul, that's what I'm worried that we're missing a little bit. I know we need that sideline to sideline speed, but we need that guy that's just going to come out there and just drop the boom. And to me, that was Omar Graham. And I, like I said, man, having to see him line up for our biggest rival. Like I said, I hope it's just not a reminder every year that we made a mistake by not pursuing him. But like you said, we will trust the staff's evaluations, and we still have some very, very quality linebackers that we're pursuing. There's no doubt about it.
Anything else you want to add about Landon Ibieta? Because it is the hot name right now. He just committed. Maybe where do you see him kind of first year in college football? Because I'm curious. A lot of people, I'm just being honest here, I've heard great people like him. Other people are a little bit, they're curious about that transition, to the University of Miami. Maybe it's going to take a lot of coaching at first. Not everyone is meant to be an instant impact player their freshman year. We've seen that several times. Okay. But if you're willing to work hard, go the extra mile, learn the playbook, you'll do fine at the University of Miami. And I think Braxton Berrios was a perfect example of that player, Mike Harley as well. And I think we'll see that with Charleston Rambo and Xavier Restrepo.
Ibieta is one of those type of guys that could kind of be one of the unheralded recruits that kind of sneaks up in a year or two and ends up earning some of those snaps like you're talking about. He's got that kind of mentality and that type of IQ that will allow him to possibly be a step ahead of certain recruits in terms of understanding the playbook, which we know is such a big, big deal to Coach Likens. He's not going to put you out there if you don't got the playbook down. That's been proven. We've seen guys with quite a bit of talent not get some snaps because Likens felt they truly didn't grasp the playbook enough to be out there on game day in the most important moments. A guy like Ibieta, with his smarts, he could sneak into there, Paul, and he could really end up being a guy that gets some back-end snaps early for us, early in his career for us.
Now, D. Burnett stated Omar wasn't serious about Miami. Now, Ross, you spoke to him a lot. We've had him on this show, I believe, twice. We've interviewed him. Do you think Omar Graham Jr. was really interested in Miami, or he had his eyes set primarily on Florida State and Penn State? Now, remember, he did tell, I believe, Andrew Ivins of 24/7 Sports, I'm looking at 2 schools, Penn State and Florida State, after I think it was after a spring game. He always had Florida State in his top schools when we spoke to him. Do you think he was really heavily interested in Miami, or Florida State was always his go-to school?
I think Florida State ultimately was his go-to school, but I would never sit here and say that he wasn't interested in Miami because he bluntly told me multiple times that he was. Me and him had conversations about it off camera in the DMs and Twitter and stuff like that. There was genuine interest from Omar Graham. I'm not quite sure why fans think that there isn't, but rumors get out there, and especially when a guy ends up picking a rival, sometimes people feel that we were kind of led along and used almost as a way to get more attention. I think Omar Graham truly thought Miami was a decent place for him. My feelings on it are maybe he heard something along the lines that maybe he wasn't a priority for Miami anymore. Maybe he heard that we were had 2 or 3, 4 guys possibly ahead of him. And if that is the case, then there's absolutely no doubt that I understand why he did what he did. And that doesn't mean that he wasn't interested in Miami. It just means that he took the best route for his future.
Beautifully said. I think Omar Graham Jr. is going to be a great player at the next level. We'll see what happens during his career at Florida State. Wish him the best of luck. And we've seen this several times. We do take players at the end of the recruiting cycle, so you never know if some player commits to a program. You never know what could happen. Maybe he can land at Miami. It's a couple days away. We've seen this 2017, 2018 roughly. We saw this with CJ Henderson going to Florida. I think it was Brian Edwards. It was Randy Russell as well. They were all committed to Miami. They jumped ship like a week before signing day. So we see this all the time. Anything else you want to add, Ross?
Not the moment here. I think we kind of hit on all the current hot topics, and it was absolutely fantastic to have an elite recruit like Anthony Lucas join the Scoop.
Yeah, Anthony Lucas, man, #1 overall player in the state of Arizona, 4-star defensive end of Haitian descent, born in the state of Florida. You can tell that connection with Coach Aristide is really playing a huge role. He was recruited by him in Texas A&M, now at Miami, holds offers from Oregon, LSU, Alabama. He's visiting all those programs, including Florida State, in this tour that he's doing. So I left very impressed with the young man. I think he's going to do great things, and I think Miami is in a great position after this interview.
Absolutely. I think that the buzz is real, and I think it's genuine. And I hope fans, like I said, if you haven't taken that time to go watch Anthony Lucas's film, take that time, take that 10 or 15 minutes to really go check it out, because this is a special player.
Last thing I will say, and then we'll wrap it up. Isaiah Bond was in Alabama. He was, we interviewed him, a great kid. Remember Ja'Curry Brown when he was on our show, he stated he thinks Isaiah Bond can come back to Miami. His mom just needs to like what she sees, the campus, the culture, the environment, while she's down here at Miami. What do you think? He was just on campus with Nick Saban. There's a video of him riding around in Nick Saban's car with his mom as well.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough for us, Paul. I think it's going to be pretty tough. I hate to say that, because how high I was on Bond. How much I wanted to add that kind of elite speed to our wide receiver room.
You were very high on Bond. I remember you told me this kid is going to be a star at the next level. You vividly told me that, and then he just started picking up offers left and right, because he was an under-the-radar recruit, wasn't getting highly publicized. And you came to me and you said, look, this kid can play several positions at the next level. We're going to interview him, and I think he's going to be a star, and it's showing off.
We got to him so early in the process, Paul, that there actually wasn't really the argument even being made yet of will he play wide receiver or cornerback. He was being seen solely as a cornerback recruit at that point in time. And wow, how things have changed pretty quick after that interview for him. Like you said, the Bama stuff, being seen as a wide receiver now at an elite level. Things definitely took a turn for him, but they took a positive turn for Bond for himself. That's for sure.
Ross, thank you again, man, for setting this up. Anthony Lucas, 4-star defensive end, #1 player out of the state of Arizona, just came off a visit to Miami. His father is a Canes legacy. I'm telling you, man, look out for Anthony Lucas. He's going to be a great player, whether it's in the orange and green or at an elite Power 5 program. Thank you to everyone. We had over 94 people join us in the live show. We did this on the fly. We didn't even announce it. So thank you again for everyone taking time out of their Father's Day to join our segment. We greatly appreciate it. And always, all about the U guys. Go Canes.
Go Canes.